What's up, YouTube? Thank you for watching this video. In this video, I'm going to show you 3 quick tips to get you a better mix without having your DAW crash. I started making beats in FL Studio probably back in 2009 or 2010. I used to have this problem with FL Studio going ham on CPU whenever I would load up multiple VSTs. Do you have the same issue right now with your mixes not sounding that great and your CPU going crazy? Well, stick around, watch the video, and hopefully I can help you out. So the first tip that I'm going to show you is pretty easy to do, and it took me a while to finally realize that that's what would solve my problem. Now is go over here to where it says 10, and that's going to be the mixer channel. So is this even on 10? Yeah, I guess it is. Alright, so for 10, what we're going to do is click here, slot 1, and what you can do is, the little bonus tip I guess you could say, is I would EQ the melody or whatever you want to record. So you can do this with drums. You could have a drum bus and then put Edison on the drum bus and record that, so it's not just MIDI, it's an actual sound wave, a complete sound wave of everything that you've written in for MIDI. So I would suggest EQing your melody first, or whatever you're going to record. In this case, I'm not going to do that. This is just an example. To do that, so we're going to go to Edison. Now, puppy. What's up? Sorry, it's just my puppy boy. So what you want to do is hit record on Edison and play on the master track. You're gonna notice that nothing's recording just yet because that piano part, you'll see right here. Alright, maybe not right here, but you'll see in a second. This is the part that I'm recording. See? Alright, sick. So now, what you're gonna want to do, listen to it. Then what you're going to want to do is clean it up. So just take away the dead space at the beginning, and there's none at the end because I cut it right as it was about to loop again. So just clean up the beginning. You click this button here where it says send to playlist. Go to the playlist, and it's right here. So this is that, if that makes sense. And I did that for the first 2 tracks up here, so these were just straight up melodies before, and then I recorded them. Cool stuff. And the reason you'd want to do that is because you're not going to have the VST running. So say if you have, like, I don't know, like Native Instruments Massive, for instance, if you have that running, then you have 4 other different VST plugins rolling at the same time, plus you have EQs and compressors and soft clippers and you name it, all on tracks on the mixer. Your shit's gonna go whack. So too much shit on a track is whack, and you're also gonna want to make sure you record that specific melody into audio, so then after that you can record, you can EQ it. Number 2, use good sounds. If you don't use a good sound, I used to have this problem all the time where I would find a sound and it wouldn't be the best sound, but I would think that I'm some audio engineer, and would think that I'm super into sound design and stuff, and it is fun. Sound design is super cool to get into, and I would love to get into it even more, but it's very time consuming, and it's just a lot easier if you just start off with a good sound. Like, you wouldn't build a brand new house with a shit foundation. You're going to want to make sure that foundation is strong. that there's no cracks in it, that it's painted, blah, blah, blah. You want to make sure that it's a good form to start with. So then, once you build the foundation, you can build on top of that. So it's almost the same type of thing while making music. If you use good sounds to begin with, you're not going to have yourself a headache later on and have your computer crash for the 5th time in your beat making or music making session, in whatever DAW you use too. I've always used FL Studio. I've never had a problem with it, and I just like using it. I've just been using it for 10 years now, so it's like I know how to use it like the back of my hand. The number 3 trick or tip that I wanted to share with you today is get familiar with Fruity Limiter. Fruity Limiter is a stock plugin, obviously with a name like Fruity Limiter. Obviously it's going to be on FL Studio, aka Fruity Loops. I'm just going to show you by putting it on the master channel, which it's already on, which is fine because I can still show you of what it sounds like with it on and what it sounds like without it on. So this is Fruity Limiter. To get there, you're going to want to go to whatever slot on whatever track you're on. Click that, hit select, and you're going to go to Fruity Limiter. Boom, under Dynamics, directly under Fruity Compressor. So you have that up, you have Fruity Limiter going. Now what Fruity Limiter is it's a limiter, it's a compressor, and it's a noise gate all at the same time, or all in the same plugin, which is super fucking cool. And it's a stock plugin too. It comes with FL Studio. So this is the limiter here. You click that limiter, boom, compressor. So we're going to use it as a limiter. So what you're going to want to do is, I'm going to hit play just so we can hear it. Why isn't it not working? Oh. Duh. Okay. You might be able to hear the difference, but basically what Fruity Limiter does is it's just a limiter. It limits the point to where the sound wave will go up. So oftentimes it's used on kick drums, it's on basses, it's on 808s, and you can coincide. You can do like you can side chain your drums with your 808 so that every time they both hit, it doesn't sound muddy. They don't try to fight with each other. So Fruity Limiter, I'm going to show you what it sounds like with and without. Basically what it does is it lets you raise the volume. It's almost, in my eyes, it's almost like a gain control. Like you can control how much sound comes out. But what the limiter does is it sets a limit so that when the sound waves are coming up, they don't go past that limit. Do you know what I mean? Like it doesn't break that barrier. Which is really cool because you can set it up. If your mix isn't loud enough, what you can do is you can set the limiter up to a certain point like this, and the sound waves won't go past it. Like it shows that it's going past it now, but it's not breaking that barrier right there. So that's basically, if you can hear the difference with it on, with it off, with it on. Here we go. This is a perfect example right here. So the green part right here, this is the ceiling. That's how high it will go. The gain will say how loud it goes. So it will never go past the green. It won't go past that ceiling because that's like the ceiling. You're not gonna, if you're my height, you're 6 feet tall, you're not gonna smash your head through the ceiling. And it's almost the same thing here. It's like we're making the sound waves a specific height so that they don't go past that limit. Hence the reason it's called a limiter. Maybe I'll do another tutorial on fruity limiter, like specifically for fruity limiter, but tip number 3 is definitely to make sure you get familiar with fruity limiter, get familiar with the EQ section, get familiar with the compression and the noise gate, because that can all help you out in the mix. If this video brought you any valuable information, make sure you hit the like button and hit the bell icon so that the next time I make a post like this, or any post in general, any video here on YouTube, you will be notified first. The algorithm still sucks. No offense, YouTube, but it still sucks. So a lot of times the people that I watch on YouTube, I don't know they post a new video unless I hit the bell icon and get notified. So I would highly suggest, if you found value in this video, that you hit the bell icon and you subscribe. In the comments section below, let me know what you do to save your mixes and save your computer on dying from overloads of CPU. My FL Studio used to crash all the time. Like literally every time I'd open it, it would crash when I'd have too much shit going on. So tip number 1, make sure you record your MIDI. Tip number 2, make sure that you use good sounds to begin with. And number 3, get familiar with Fruity Limiter, because it will save your ass and it will make your, especially if your mix isn't loud enough, you don't want to just jack the gain up or turn like the volume on the track all the way up. You're going to want to figure it out. So maybe EQ it a little better, or like tip number 3, like I said, use the Fruity Limiter, because it will save you. Your kicks won't be punching through the ceiling, or your 808s, and no one will be mad at you and sending you emails because your mixes are horrible and the first song they played, your 808s blew through their speakers. So